Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at BTC. We've dropped down quite nicely to this support box that we had drawn in yesterday, and we're going to talk about what we think the next moves are. Before we jump into that though, I'd like to say thank you for watching the video, and if you'd like to show your support, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on the bell notification so you never miss a video, and why not leave us some feedback down in the comment section below. Okay, let's jump into the price action. So there was two ways of looking at this move to the downside, and then I was showing this one that's possibly got an additional fifth wave to the downside here. So what I'll be looking for with this is to see how we react around this fourth wave zone. Should we start to move back down impulsively, then it would be possible that we could be looking for an additional wave to the downside towards this 16236 to the 16045 area. There is another way of counting this as completed already into this low point here. So we just need to see how this reacts. Basically, what we would be looking for is a move to confirm this additional green fifth wave. We've already moved up to this 382, but I wouldn't really want to see us move too much further past this 0.5 zone. Um, it technically can move higher than this, though this is not very common, and if it did, it would be more possible we would be looking at the breakout potential that I will be showing shortly. But within this move, basically, this could also be completed into this low, though until we get, we seem to have five-wave structure here within this move, so it's likely that we're completed here, though I'm just keeping an eye out. Should we start to move down again and look to break this low, the area that I'd be looking at is the 16,236 to the 16,045 area. May even come down and retest the $16,000 area to the penny, as it could be a psychological level that we could be looking at. So that's just something we need to bear in mind. Okay, so let's look at the alternative. Basically, within this move to the upside, actually, before I turn this off, so this green counter is looking for the potential of having a bigger five-wave move to the downside. And if I just change this degree, actually, let's put it to that. There we go. So what we're looking for here is the potential that we're forming a five-wave move to the downside. Whether this finishes here or we have another leg, we'll have to see. But if we do finish at this point, this zone here would be our potential rejection area, and that would be a fib relationship to this move to the downside. So if we do move up in a three-wave move up into this zone, there is potential that we could be look to start to form impulsive structure back to the downside. And this is what we need to be aware of. There is an alternative count where we could be looking to break this high here at this 18387, though we would just need to be aware that until we break this high, there is potential for extension to the downside, and effectively this wave 4 could be ending here. So we just need to bear that in mind, that we could still have the additional wave to the downside here as a bigger five-wave move, so we need to be aware of that. If we do look to push up and we are going to look to invalidate this count, basically what I'm tracking separately to this is the potential that we have. I don't really like the structure that much, but it doesn't really break any rules. If we look at this as rather as a zigzag with a extended C wave here, so this would be A, B, and C. The only reason I'm looking at this potential is because I don't really like the difference between this wave 2 and this wave 4, so it makes it much more clean to look at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 into this high point here, which would then leave us with this as a 1, 2, or as a, B, and a C. So we could have a expanding flat in this position, though I'm not 100% with this. I don't really like the way that this move developed, but it is still possible. So if that is the case, we would be looking for potential of forming a C wave back to the upside here. And if that's the case, what we'd be looking at is potential for a 1-to-1 of this A zone, which it would look to target out this 18,287 area. And we can see that currently the 1-to-1 of this A wave wouldn't take us back up past this B wave high. though it is possible for this to extend slightly and take us above that zone. If that's the case, then we would be looking for we would have to see how these waves develop exactly to see how deep we think this can go to the upside, and then we would be looking for a rejection from that point, and effectively this wave forward just moves slightly over. If I come down here into the smaller, let me zoom into this. So the way I'm looking at this move currently, it is possible we have an additional fifth wave here because we can count this as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we've got a fourth and a fifth, or we can count it as 1, 2, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So it could be completed in this high point here, though we need to be aware that there is also a possibility that we could have a final fifth wave to the upside here. If this is the case and we do have an additional fifth wave, what we'd be looking out for is a drop to around this 16,695, potentially looking to retest this zone over here before looking for one more push to the upside. And let me just double check this. If that's the case, yeah, then we would be looking towards pushing up into this red box zone that I've got indicated here. So this red box area is the 16,991 to the 16,924. Moving back up into there would just basically mean that we have this moved slightly over like this. Though for the most part it could be completed, so we need to see how this reacts. If we don't manage to break down below this fourth wave zone, then it would be possible that we have this fifth wave, although I am currently looking for us to have a three wave move to the downside here to confirm that we're looking for this B wave retracement. And this would be an A, a B, and a C, potentially a zigzag within this move. So we'll have to see how this develops, but basically we'll be looking for a three wave move into this zone. Here, this is a typical retracement zone. It can go lower than this, but once you break through the 16,393 zone, it becomes less likely. And what I'd potentially rather be looking at there then is for the idea of having that additional drop to that zone indicated in the other charts. Which, if I just quickly flip this back over. So looking for this fourth wave. If we start to break below this 16,393 area, that would be a warning sign that we could be within that move. Though for as long as we hold this 16,256 area, we have to bear in mind that there is potential for extension here to the upside. So if this is the case, what we'd be looking for is, like I said, if we've completed here, we'd be looking for this move back down to the screen support zone. And then we would be looking for a five wave move to the upside. This five wave move ideally would take us to the 17,525 zone if it is going to be a impulsive structure. And then that would be made up of five waves. And then we'd have a three wave move to the downside. And then additionally, a five wave move back up to the high point, which could take us into the 17,796 to the 17,638 zone. Okay, so that would technically complete that impulse. And from there, we would have to see what happens. Because if we basically would then be looking for what happens with this retracement. We'd be looking for a retracement back to the downside if we're going to be looking for continuation. And what we would be looking for, depending on where exactly this move ends, we'd be looking for a move. Let's put it into that zone. Yeah. So if we do complete within this red box area, this will slightly change the targets depending on where it exactly ends, but we could then be looking for a move back down to this 16,964 to this 16,555. And basically what I'd be looking at here is the potential to come back and retest these high points that we have here. That would sit quite nicely on the 0.618. And then from there, we would be looking for whether we're going to get whether we're just going to get a bigger A, a B, and a C to the upside, in which case what we'd be looking for is potential to move up towards this 18,283 area. If this is going to be just a three wave move, and alternatively, if this is going to develop into a five wave move, what we'd be looking at is the potential of our third wave. So actually, if I just leave this down here at this 1-to-1, what we'd be looking at then is rather the potential for a bigger 1, 2, let me just drop that there for now. Third wave, oh, wrong one. Third wave potentially pushing up to this 19273 area, and then looking for continuation with the fifth wave, which would look to potentially target out this area here of 20,000 to 19,580. So this would then complete a corrective move, in my opinion. If this plays out, what we'd be looking for is actually that we have a completed correction here at this point, with an A, a B, and a C to the upside here. And what we would have to be aware of is that from that point, we could be looking to break down again. And this breakdown from this point would be looking still to target out a zigzag to the downside. So we'd need to just see how exactly this develops, but we could actually be looking for a retest of this trend line. This has moved slightly. Let me bring this back down and around onto there. So we could potentially look for a retest of this trend line, or alternatively, this could look to fall short as a diagonal. Like I said before in the previous videos, there's a couple of ways of counting this move. If we look to progress deeper, then we could have a situation where we have a 1-2-1-2 setup, and we're actually looking to drop much lower. And we covered that in the previous videos. So if you want more information on that, just jump back into the videos and you'll be able to see it. Okay, so that's what I'm tracking for the time being. Also, actually, before we end this, if I just delete these moves off of here now, and if I switch back over to this move here, we turn this off. We need to be aware that we have the potential as well to form a wave 2 here. So if we fail to reach impulsive trigger, what we could actually be doing is setting up for this wave 2. And if this next move to the upside fails to break above this 18,387, basically what we would be looking for is potential to continue to the downside. And if I just cycle this on, so the 1-to-1, let me actually mark that again. Let me just mark over here. Okay, so object tree. Let's turn this off for a second. I want this one on, this one off. Okay, so if we do have a if we don't drop down for this fourth wave and we complete the fifth wave and we complete it here, and we just form a 3-wave move to the upside, like we said earlier, which would be a 1-to-1 would bring us here towards the 17,126 zone. We'd have to just be careful that we're not forming just corrective structure here, and we could actually just form something like this as an A wave, we look to retrace in a B wave, then we move up again in a C wave, and then we look to break down from that point. So we just need to be aware that, it depends what happens with this wave to the upside here. A 3-wave move to the upside would indicate that to me that we're setting up for a bigger 5-wave move to the downside. The continuation with an impulsive 3rd wave within this move to the zones we talked about would indicate that we are going up, and potentially could look to even take this high point here. So it all depends on these moves. We're going to be monitoring them, and we'll try to keep you up to date as best we can. And yeah, that's pretty much everything for this video, and I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and yeah, why not leave us a comment down below with anything that you'd like to tell us. Yeah, have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care out there, everybody.